All right, my friends, welcome back. This is going to be part 96 of my presentation on Dinosaurs and Man. And boy, do we got a lot to cover in this video. So I am going to jump right on in it. And so if you'll notice on the screen here, this information that I'm going to be giving you comes from a book by Joe Taylor. Joe Taylor. Joe Taylor is a fascinating individual. If any of you old timers remember the Mr. Pibb soft drinks, well, Joe was responsible for that logo there, Mr. Pibb. He is a tremendous artist. I mean, just a fantastic artist. And so I'm going to take it that maybe he was some type of did like billboards and stuff like that for records and stuff like that. From what I've been able to gather, just a kind of commercial artist. I mean, the guy is really good. I mean, the look at his work is just absolutely just amazing. But he's with the Lord now. He's with the Lord now, and but he had a museum called Mount Blanco Museum, and I was able to talk to Joe over the phone and communicate with him about some of these castings that he did of the Man and Dinosaur tracks. And I had some email correspondence with him. Just a real humble fella, and just fascinating, just very knowledgeable about fossils in general, because he's had his hands in that. And so this book here, Fossil Facts and Fantasies, is an absolute fantastic book. If you guys want to get your hands on that, you'll learn a whole lot of stuff. But that's where this material that will be talking about the Japanese track, we're going to talk about that. And so now, this right here is a picture of that track that went of the casting of it. Now, I do have a cast of this track here, and so or these two tracks, and we're going to talk about the two tracks that's in here, because there's a dinosaur track in here and what sure appears to be a human track in that also. And so, but we're going to talk about that in this video here, and hopefully I can cover everything and I won't have to go into another video. So now, this is what, and I just copied this right from his book. I'm going to let Joe speak for himself on what he witnessed and what he was a part of. Now, he says here, in 1996, Dr. Carl Baugh asked me to mold in place the entire 60-foot sequence of the famous Taylor Trail. And we talked about the Taylor Trail in previous videos. He says, an object of great controversy. There are over a dozen dinosaur footprints with what are said to be 16 human prints stepping in and around each dinosaur print. A Japanese film crew was there making a documentary. Rain caused the river to rise and the plan was abandoned. In order for the Japanese film crew to have something to do, it was decided to uncover at least some new dino tracks upstream. A crew of 20 people worked a half day jackhammering loose and slowly removing a slab of limestone, 12 inches thick and 4 by feet across. Below that, I personally helped Dr. Baugh remove the 6 inches or so of brown clay down to the next layer of limestone. And this is that Japanese film crew. They were there filming it. They open-minded. They wanted to see it. They wanted to make a documentary about the area and what was found and what was discovered. And so this is an actual picture of that. And I tell you one thing right now, I would love to have a copy of their recording. And this is Dr. Carl Baugh and Joe Taylor removing the hard brown clay over the human-like and dinosaur track. He goes on to say, the Japanese film crew filmed continuously while Dr. Fukuda, a paleontologist, and Dr. Morori, a science writer patiently watched. Working our way forward, where we hope to reveal an 18-inch three-toed Acrocanthosaurus track, Dr. Ball removed clay from a depression shaped like a loaf of bread. A few inches away, we came to the expected three-toed track that they were hoping to find. And this right here is that track there. This is the Acrocanthosaurus track. And so this is what that animal looked like. Look a whole lot like T-Rex. And so who knows? Very well could be in the same kind of animal. We talked about the kinds before. Definitely could fall under the same kind of animal. And maybe a T-Rex and an Acrocanthosaurus could produce the same type of animal or the same kind of animal. And so, but this is an Acrocanthosaurus. This is what it looked like. He goes on, through the interpreter, Dr. Fukuda asked me to clean out the other depression, the human-like track. This was that one that was shaped like a loaf of bread. I began scrubbing with a toothbrush and water. Do you want to help? I asked him. So Dr. Fukuda and I scrubbed that depression until there was nothing but limestone left. He sat on his knees for quite a while looking at the tracks and speaking to the cameraman in Japanese. Carl and I, that was Carl Ball, Carl and I were as surprised as the Japanese were. There is no animal or dinosaur I know of that could make a track like that. It could only have been made by a human. And he says this Japanese human-like track was only 1 inch deep. The three-toed dinosaur track is only 1.5 inch deep. The center toe of the dinosaur just barely makes an imprint, so the mud was fairly firm when these two tracks were made. It was not watery, like a real watery, muddy area. And this is what he's talking about. If you'll notice, you'll see the outside toes of the Acrocanthosaurus, but that middle one doesn't make a good imprint. He said it because it was more firmer. He said it's not because it was infilling. And so he said it was a much firmer type of material that the dinosaurs stepped on. Now this right here is the human-like track. And now you're looking right above it. And we're going to talk about it here in just, I'm going to show you some aspects about it. It's a human-like track 5 inches from the dinosaur track. Now, what Joe did is he took latex mold. Now, any of you guys that watch like Forensic Files and stuff like that, you'll sometimes hear them say that they'll take latex mold and put it in like tire tracks or footprints to get the fine detail of the tracks. That's the reason why they do that. Well, that's what he did to this human-like track. So what you're looking at right here is the latex mold flipped over. This is as if you were looking on the underside of that human-like track. He put the latex mold to get the fine detail, and then he turned it over, and this is what he got. Much more detail that you can just see just with the naked eye on top of it. And so what I did to help out with some of you that, that way you'll know what you're looking at, I've numbered the toes. The big toe was 1, and then the second toe was 2, and then the third toe, you can barely make it out, but it is there. It's 3, and then you just can't make out any of the other toes on there. And so, or the pinky toe and the fourth toe. But what I did is to make it for even more, I went ahead and drew lines around the contour of it to help you out there. And so these are the 3 toes that were visible. Especially the first and second toe was the better. They was the better of the 3 that you're seeing here. But what I did is again, this is the latex mold that has been flipped over. And so you're seeing the underside of the footprint. And so these are the toes here. You got the big toe, second toe, and the third toe. And so that's the contour that you're looking at. Now, the second picture will be without the lines. So this is without the lines, okay? And this is with the lines. We're going to look at it again without the lines. Can you see that? Can you see the shape of the foot there? With the lines. Okay, let's go back without. And that is what it looks like there. Now, this is the, what I did is I continued on with some lines so you can see you got the ball of the foot. This is looking at the foot kind of like a sideways. You're not looking at on top. You're looking at the ball of the foot kind of on its side there. So there's that right there would be the ball of the foot. And then you got the arch in there. And so it's not as distinguishable as some of the other tracks, but the human foot can be made out there. And this is with no lines. So let's go back where I'm pointing it out. And then I'm going to take the wording away so you can just see that. And this is the with no lines. Back the lines again, showing the toes, the ball of foot, and the arch. And then without the lines. You can see the human footprint is there. And so I tell you what, as much as I hate to do it, we're going to have to stop. And so it's going to be really long if I go into this. And I was kind of wondering how much I could get done. But when we come back, we're going to continue on with this. And I'm going to show you some other aspects of it and another footprint that was found that very well could be made by the same individual. And so I may show you some casts that I have. And so if time permits. And so, but just so I don't do the material any disservice, I want to be as detailed as I can so you guys can get as much information as possible. And so when we come back, we're going to continue on with this, and hopefully I'll be able to finish up with the Japanese track. But you guys take care. I love you. Hope the Lord blesses you real good. Bye-bye.